also track more details. Shocking new details from the ill-fated Air India 171 crash preliminary reports, which point to a critical and baffling moment in the cockpit that may have sealed the flight's fate. Investigators have revealed that just 10 seconds after lifting off from Ahmedabad, both fuel control switches from the aircraft's two engines were inexplicably moved from run to cut off 1 second apart. Now, this of course starved the engines of fuel and sent the plane into a catastrophic loss of thrust. The switches were flipped back to run, but it was too late. The aircraft plummeted, unable to recover. Cockpit voice recordings capture a moment of sheer confusion where one pilot is asking, "Why did you cut off?" to which the other responds that "I did not do so," suggesting neither believed they toggled the fuel control switches. Now, the fuel control switches are designed with locking mechanisms and guarded brackets to prevent accidental movement, make this a near simultaneous shutdown almost unthinkable. The preliminary findings from the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau released found no mechanical faults in the GE Aerospace Gen X-1B engines or in the switches themselves. No fuel contamination or improper flap settings were detected either. A 2018 FAA bulletin, however, warned of potential issues with fuel control switch locks on some Boeing models, including the 787, but Air India did not conduct the recommended inspections, which were non-mandatory. Could this oversight now hold the key? Investigators are zeroing in on the reason of the switch malfunction. The design of these switches, of course, makes accidental flips unlikely, leaving experts searching for answer. Now, let's take a look at what exactly is the fuel control system and its security measures, as we of course speak of this inadvertent transitioning from the run to the cutoff positions. Now, what is a fuel control system? It is a critical cockpit control used to manage the flow of fuel to the aircraft's engines. So, we take a closer look of what is a fuel control system. It manages the flow of fuel to the aircraft's engines. So, as we of course dive into exactly the mechanism behind this, it is a two-position toggle or lever switch labeled run and cutoff. So, as we saw, of course, it is a two-position switch and it can toggle between a run, which is when the fuel supply is given to the engines, and cutoff when the fuel supply is stopped. It is typically located on the control stand in the flight deck below the throttle levers. So, it is right below the throttle levers, and as we saw, of course, it controls fuel supply to the engines. Now, here we also take a look at the safety and design elements of this switch. The switches are equipped with a metal stop lock mechanism. So, a safety element put into place, a metal stop lock mechanism is used in these switches. It requires, now these metal stop lock mechanisms require the pilot to lift the switch over a rattan or gate before moving. So, as mentioned by our guests also, it cannot simply be switched on and off. It needs to be lifted before it can be moved from one position to the other, is another safety element that is put into place. Now, also this design includes additional physical guards as well. So, a number of safety elements put into place to ensure no inadvertent movement. Now, the brackets around the switches minimize the risk of unintentional movement. So, another safety element which is put into place, to minimize the risk of any unintentional movement, there are brackets that are placed around the switches as well, as we can see over here. So, you know, as we take a closer look at what exactly the fuel control switches are, we see that there are a number of safety and design elements also put into place to ensure that there is no inadvertent movement. Now, as I